All right, so we're here today with Naomi Brockwell. I'll say hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? So you are relatively known in the Bitcoin world, but you might not have always been in the crypto sphere. How did you first hear about cryptocurrency, and why does it really matter for you?
Really matters for me because I have a background in Austrian economics. I remember reading Rothbard's "What Has the Government Done to Our Money?" and I'm so infuriated with government manipulation of the money supply. So when I heard about Bitcoin, it was just an obvious thing for me to fall in love with. I got involved immediately as soon as I started to know that it was a thing. I started trading futures and lost a lot of money there. I don't come from a tech background. All of my friends do. And so they're all downloading clients and talking about hash rates. And it was all completely over my head. All I knew was that philosophically, it was something that was decentralized, that the government wasn't involved in. And that was enough to get me really curious. And so that's when I started making videos about Bitcoin and trying to let people know that it was a thing and they should get involved.
Yeah, so what is the extent of your involvement in the crypto sphere right now?
So right now I do a bunch of things. I MC about 20 to 30 cryptocurrency blockchain conferences a year all over the world. Generally go to a couple of different countries every month. I used to work at the New York Bitcoin Center. I mean, the main thing that I do is I'm a video producer. I'm a television producer. I produce for John Stossel, and now I've just relaunched my channel. So I'm going to be doing cryptocurrency tech, blockchain focused videos that really explore what's going on in the space and get people excited about this. I mean, right now it seems that the first thing people say when you talk about Bitcoin is, oh, well, have you seen the price? You know, that's not the most exciting thing about cryptocurrency. So I hope to be someone who could educate people about why they should be interested in cryptocurrency in general, and not just because it's a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, so what's the extent of your usage of cryptocurrency? Obviously, just as that everyone talks about it has some kind of usage there.
Hmm.
And a lot of people have uses for different things. Like some people just trade and try to make a quick buck. Others try to make a long buck,
Yeah.
and just hold in their little hardware wallets or whatever for long term. Others spend. Others experiment with smart contracts. Others, there's plenty of reasons. Oh, what do you actually use Bitcoin for in your typical life,
Right.
or other cryptocurrencies as well?
Yeah, so I was collecting my rent. I put my name on a lease and collected rent from my housemate in Bitcoin for a while. I was getting paid in Bitcoin as well. I am a hodler, so it doesn't seem to make much sense for me to be selling it right now. Actually, Jeffrey Tucker wrote a really great article about this, about how people in the crypto scene, it's all about like spending as little as possible. How cool it is to be a pauper and not spend your money, because you spend it. You've spent it one day, and the next day that's the most expensive pizza you've ever purchased. So you have a lot of people who are just kind of hanging on. That's my philosophy to an extent, but I am increasingly curious. I mean, the only reason I don't really use it as much for everyday transactions as I used to. Like I used to pay people back in the office. If they bought lunch, I'd send them crypto. But the reason I tend to shy away from that now is transaction fees. So other altcoins, other currencies are becoming more interesting to me now, because every time you have a problem with one thing, the market provides a solution, or at least tries to. And I just see so many solutions being provided right now that other currencies just seem really interesting. I mean, Dash is one of those currencies. It seems like it was specifically designed to be an ideal currency for everyday transactions. So something like that is really interesting to me.
Yes, for sure. And now, have you seen your overall usage of cryptocurrency drop off as some of the main ones, fees, et cetera, become more expensive? Or is it you're still just as determined to use it as ever? You just have to do it less frequently or have to explore different avenues?
I would say the latter. I just do it less frequently and explore other avenues. I still love the idea of it. Like, just even with transaction fees and whatnot, in what other world could you send over a mass payment, or like all your savings from Australia to America for maximum $20? Like that sort of thing. The amount of fees that I was paying in the traditional financial system was far beyond that. And also I was getting screwed on the exchange rate. So there'd be like a 4% gap between buy and sell with my bank account. So I was just losing a huge amount of money. And crypto is still, Bitcoin in particular, is still an alternative to that. But you see other cryptocurrencies coming in and taking the place of everyday transactions. So there are just so many alternatives now. You just don't need to use shitty systems anymore.
Yes, of course. Now, it's like you have a background to myself in that it's not at all so an ideological for cryptocurrency and not a technical bent. And so emphasis on the not a technical bent. How is the experience of being a crypto user today as well as when you started? How is that for a non-technical person, someone who doesn't understand hashing algorithms and long addresses and things like that?
Right. Well, it's definitely getting easier for everyday people to use crypto. All the different third-party platforms that are just making it, creating less friction with transactions. You're going to just see that increase so much more, especially with so much money, like Bitcoin being so valuable at the moment. Dash has increased in value so dramatically. All of the coins are just like booming right now. So you definitely see lots of people trying to get in and take advantage of that and create companies to facilitate transaction, because there's just a huge market opening for that and market demand for it. I mean, from my own personal experience, has gotten a lot easy for me, like since they have, there are hardware wallets like Trezor or Ledger. It's just really easy for you to store your own keys, and easier than it used to be. Even paper wallets and things like that. It's definitely getting easier.
So you're a legit crypto user and not a user by proxy, as in I have a Coinbase account, therefore I think I'm a direct crypto user.
Well, I wouldn't detract. I mean, Coinbase has done a tremendous amount of good for the crypto community. A lot of people hate on them because they're a third party. They're just like a bank, it's useless if you're in crypto. But honestly, it's such an easy way to get involved. I honestly recommend Coinbase to anyone who's new to the scene. If they're like, Naomi, I don't know how to work this thing, help me out. I'm always like, listen, go to Coinbase. It's so easy. You just link your bank account and you're good. So, obviously, it's not ideal to have someone else holding your money, and that's what people who philosophically are drawn to Bitcoin and to crypto really align themselves with. But for an everyday user, they're used to having a credit card, they're used to having a piece of plastic, they're used to that ease. And so for them, Coinbase is a great alternative and a great resource for them.
Yeah, so that's a definitely interesting point, which I would of course agree with, is a lot of people trying to say, oh, you got to use it the real way or whatever. And the true users are not everyone. Or in fact, they're very few people. And that's by design. It's just the average person is not going to use something that's so unfriendly. They're going to want to get an account, sign up, pay with a credit card or whatever, and then have something in an easily managed thing. And so, I think there's it's no accident that Coinbase skyrocketed to the top of the App Store, because how are people going to use something? You're not going to download a client. They're not going to run a full node. You're not going to get your grandmother to dust off her Raspberry Pi and do all that stuff. It's just not going to happen. But so the whole emphasis on it has to be usable for average users is a big hurdle for a lot of cryptocurrency. And so how did you first hear about Dash?
It's hard to pinpoint when you first hear about something. Like, I actually can't even remember the first time I heard about Bitcoin. Suddenly it was just there and it's everywhere, Dash, I guess, I heard about it before it was called Dash. So I've known about
Dark
it.
Coin days.
Exactly. So I've been hearing about it for a while, but I've only really been looking into it in the last few months, to be honest. And
is there anything that prompted that in particular?
Yeah. One of my friends helped organize a Dash conference, Amanda, and then another one of my friends emceed the Dash conference in London, and it was that on top of like just kind of seeing more about it, and then just seeing so many people from the community posting about it, and that was interesting. Like suddenly I'm hearing about it everywhere, and I'm reading about it on Twitter, and I'm reading about it in my Facebook thread, and everyone's talking about Dash, and I never really paid attention to it before then. And so, and also because when you start out, when you're in crypto since like for a long time, I haven't been in it for too long, like since 2013, which is longer than most. But there's so many shit coins around, right? So you tended to just kind of mute them out, and you're like, oh God, another coin. So like when I first heard about this, I wasn't that interested because was it just another shit coin? But it has proven like overwhelmingly over the last few years that it has incredible uses, and I don't think we really realized what those uses were until Bitcoin became less viable as an everyday currency with transaction fees and how long it took to make the transactions. And so that was when I first started to be like, okay, so there are alternative currencies out there that actually have a really well-functioning ecosystem that are a viable alternative and are not just get-rich-quick pump and dump schemes. They're actually legitimate coins, and Dash was one of those. And so that's when I really started to look into it and get excited.
And so where's that research taking you now that you're looking into Dash, figuring out about it? What are you doing about all that info?
What am I doing about that info? Well, I mean, everyone is so caught up with the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash debate. And I think it just kind of misses the point. Like, is Bitcoin ever going to be able to be scaled to the level of Visa or MasterCard? Probably not, because you'd need like 10 terabytes of storage every single day to
yes, of course.
Like, I mean, it's not viable. So I think we really do need to be looking to alternative currencies. I'm not sure that I mean, Roger Ver says that we can scale Bitcoin Cash to infinity. Just keep increasing it. I don't know if that's what he actually says, but it does seem that proponents of Bitcoin Cash just think that increasing the block size is a panacea, and I just don't believe that. I think that we need to look at different technologies, and I think that Dash provides a really great alternative.
All right. So what's next? What's next for you?
What's next for me in terms of, well, I mean, I just launched a new channel. I was making videos back in 2013 about Bitcoin. I made some cheesy music videos, and now I just relaunched, and this next year I'm focusing solely on that, on looking at tech, looking at blockchain tech in particular, and looking at cryptocurrency, and just finding ways to educate people, let them know about awesome things like Dash, let them know about what's going on in the space, and provide an easily digestible format for people who don't necessarily know that much about the scene. So that's what's new with me. I'm producing a series, a crypto thriller noir, which is an amazing name for a genre, like crypto thriller noir.
It almost sounds like an industrial metal band or something.
Oh God, it sounds amazing. And I actually discovered this project on Steemit, and they got like one of the lead actors from Ozark, that Netflix series, involved, one of the leads from Billions. We got like an awesome cast, and I looked into the director, and he's done all these amazing commercials. Like he's a really good director. And so I wrote to them, and I'm like, listen, I just heard about this project you guys doing. You're doing this series that highlights cryptocurrency. It basically looks at the dangers of government, and government overreach, and how money could actually help in that situation, having a decentralized, cryptographically secured money supply, and I want to be involved. And they wrote back and said, actually, Naomi, we were just about to reach out to you to see if you wanted to be involved. And I was like,
Perfect
oh
timing.
my God, this is amazing. So that's going to be the project for next year for me as well. And I'm very excited to get underway with production for that. We put in a Dash proposal as well, which I'm hoping goes through. If it doesn't, obviously there are lots of people interested in this series. We've got, as on our board of advisors, we've got like Bruce Fenton and Jason King, and like just some really legit people who are not only advising us with the tech side of things, but also helping to create awareness about this series. Because if you create a series that has legitimate people attached to it, and it focuses on the importance of cryptocurrency and how it can help, especially in relation to like government overreach and all of that. I just think that you have the power to change the narrative. I mean, you look at the narrative about cryptocurrency. It started off with, oh, it's all drug users and thieves and awful people, and then it kind of shifted, and it's like, oh, these guys are lunatics, and it's a bubble, and they're stupid, and don't waste your money. And then it's like, oh, this is a get-rich-quick scheme. Don't be fooled. You'll lose everything. And it's like, no, you guys are missing the point. This is really powerful and important. So if we can have a legitimate project that has a lot of very important, influential people behind it who are promoting this, we can shape the narrative. We can let people know why this is important. And I think that's exciting, and that's why I'm involved.
Well, very cool. That's definitely the best way I could ever think of wrapping this up. Well, thanks very much for chatting with me, and we hope definitely will be paying close attention to your efforts in the future.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks.